Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm here to share with you my Q2 favorites. So I used to do a monthly favorites video, and in 2020 I transitioned to a quarterly favorites video. But this is only my second one, and I've got to be honest with you, it feels like everything I'm going to talk about today is all pretty recent. Like, it's almost like a June favorites video. There's only a couple things here that I feel like actually started in April and May. And so I don't know if that's just because I don't really have any favorites from April and May because this is a very weird time that we're living in, or if it's just like a recency bias and I am only thinking of the things that I recently have been enjoying and that are favorites. So I'm gonna try to do a better job in the upcoming quarter to go ahead and have a running list and check in with it every like 2 weeks or so and see if there's anything that I can't jot down. That way when I get to the end of the quarter, I can kind of make sure that it also includes things from earlier in the quarter, because there might have been something I loved in April or May that I'm going to forget to talk about today. But let's go ahead and get started. If you watched last quarter's favorites video, I shared that I'm going to be sharing favorites in 10 different categories. So the categories are reading, listening, watching, wearing, cooking, planning, pampering, cleaning, doing, and loving. So let's start with reading. This is one that I actually did read back in April, and I've talked about it in a bunch of different places. And I don't have it physically here with me in Texas because I finished it before we came down here, and it is called Fear is My Homeboy. So I found this author through Amy Landino, who I've talked about before. She had this author on her podcast, and I just fell in love with her energy and her personality, and I was like, zoom, I need to follow her everywhere. So I started following her on Instagram. I started listening to her podcast. I joined her Facebook group, and I bought her book. And it has made such a difference. Her in general, like all of her content, consuming it, I think has made a difference in my mindset and kind of my energy. But specifically the book was very actionable, very helpful. I've talked about the I am statements that I'm doing when I journal. That came from that book. Like, I would highly recommend this book. It is super uplifting, and she's amazing. All right, the next category is listening. And last quarter, I listed out all of the podcasts that I listened to, all of which I still listen to and have been kind of keeping up with, some better than others, but I do really love all those podcasts. I wanna give a quick shout out to Pantsuit Politics because just like I said last quarter, having that resource during this time is so beneficial. They are so focused on bringing you facts and bringing it with grace, and it is just very, very important to have that for me right now. We don't have cable, we're not watching a bunch of news. Like, our news sources are what we search out, and that's always true, I guess. But it's very helpful to have this source for me for current events. I would recommend it for anybody, regardless of your political affiliation. There's two hosts, they both align with a different party, and they just have incredibly insightful, factual reviews on everything going on in the world. I did add 2 new podcasts to my lineup this quarter though. The first one is Be the Bridge, which is a whole new podcast with Latasha Morrison, who I have followed for a very long time. I found her through Annie Downs, and then Annie does a podcast with this guy named Eddie, and I listen to their podcast all the time. I love their podcast. But they have talked about Latasha Morrison before and Be the Bridge and donating to Be the Bridge. So then when Latasha announced Be the Bridge podcast, I was so excited. So immediately added to my lineup. There's not very many episodes yet, so go listen to them and let's follow along together. The other podcast I added, which I have not finished, is 1619 by the New York Times. It's a podcast about slavery, and it is incredibly, incredibly powerful and heartbreaking and all kinds of things, but I would highly recommend it. Okay, the next category is watching. One of these should be a no surprise to you if you watch the weekly vlogs, and that is Lost. We watched Lost from start to finish this quarter. Sam had never seen it before. I had seen it twice. I'd watched through it twice. I'd never watched it live. My grandmother loved it live when it was on, whenever it was on. I remember Mima would always be like, why don't you watch Lost so that we can talk about it? I miss my grandma. But this was the first time Sam was watching it. He didn't hate the ending as much as I did. I hate the ending of Lost, but it's still a really good show, and it was a really good, like, binge-worthy during quarantine show for us. We also have been keeping up with the 100. The most recent season, the last season ever of the 100, has started back up again, so we've been watching that every single week, and I have to tell you, I am so confused. So freaking confused. I don't know what is going on in this season, y'all. I'm gonna have to go watch last season again and then rewatch this season again. I still don't know if I'm gonna understand it. All right, the next category is wearing. And in terms of regular clothes, I don't have any updates for you because it's exactly the same as last quarter because I haven't gone anywhere. But since coming down to Texas, one of the things that I have been loving wearing are my swimsuits. I actually bought these swimsuits for Plancation last year. So the Arizona Planner girls put on an event called Plancation, and it always included a pool party. And so for Plancation last year, I was like, well, I need a new swimsuit for this pool party. So I went to Amazon and I found these really cute swimsuits. Actually, I think I included these in a favorites video last year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I did, but I still love them, and they are definitely one of the things I've been wearing a lot this quarter. So I have two of them. I have this one that's more of a V-neck with this little knot in the front, and they're both skirts on the bottom. So they're one pieces with skirts on the bottom, and then this one is a little bit more kind of straight across, so it doesn't have quite as much cleavage, and the straps are definitely thicker, but again, skirt on the bottom. Love these from Amazon. They come in a lot of different colors and patterns as well. I have had them for over a year at this point though, so hopefully I'm still able to link them for you if I can find them. Okay, the next category is cooking. And here we go again. If you watch the weekly vlogs, this should be of no surprise to you. This cookbook is incredible. Now, full disclosure, we've only done 2 weeks of this cookbook, and there's 26 weeks worth of recipes. But so far we are 2 for 2. So the concept of the cookbook is you have 3 main ingredients: a protein, a vegetable, and a starch. And it's a gluten-free starch. So it's like rice or zucchini noodles, or like it's a gluten-free starch. And on whatever day you choose, so let's just say on Sunday, you prep a bunch of food. So you usually cook all the protein, you chop up a bunch of vegetables, you cook the starch, you get everything ready so that during the week, it takes like 15 minutes or less. And so far, 2 for 2, the recipes have been delicious. The prep has been very easy. Highly, highly recommend. I talk about this in more detail in both of the most recent weekly vlogs, but I have been loving this cookbook. I actually rented it from the library because I was gonna like test it out and see if I actually liked it before I bought my own copy. But of course I haven't been able to go back to return it to the library. And then somebody messaged me or commented somewhere that you could get a coiled version on Amazon. You best believe I'm gonna return this one to the library and get myself a coiled version on Amazon because I love this thing. Okay, the next category is planning. And I feel like a lot of my planning favorites you can probably just gather from watching my planning videos. And I don't have anything new from quarter 2. I think quarter 3, that's gonna be a different story with some different things. But the thing I have to talk about is my iPad. So I bought this used from a friend for a really, really good deal. And I've been wanting one of these for a very long time. I talked about this on Instagram. I have been wanting one of these ever since I learned that you can write on it with a pencil, but I just couldn't justify it. And then it was kind of the perfect storm of the Launchpad planner launching, and I wanted to do that justice with a really good deal for a used one from a friend, and so I got it. It's an older model, but it does exactly what I want, and I've been loving it for lists. I've been writing down just brain dumps. I've been writing down ideas for goals. I've been using it, honestly, recently when I'm filming this video as a daily planner until my new one starts July 1st, and it's just been really, really awesome. I don't know how I lived without this, and I haven't even done all that much. Really, I've downloaded 1 app. That's about the extent of what I do. I haven't even linked up any other accounts. I don't look at social media on this. I haven't even downloaded like my email. It's literally just been GoodNotes. That's the app I've been using, is GoodNotes. And I've just been using a couple different layouts. In fact, my like quarterly favorites is listed. That's what I'm referencing while I do this. I have a couple different notebooks. So I have a to-do list notebook. I have a brain dumps notebook. I have a goal ideas notebook. And then I have some different like planners, like my Launchpad planner. I just love this thing, y'all. It's really, really great. I'm not telling you to go out and buy an iPad, but if I had to say something I've been loving this month that is helping my planning system and my planning just style, it's this iPad. Okay, the next category is pampering. And what I wanna talk about are these moisturizers. So these are from Clinique, which is a brand that has been around for a very long time. I remember stealing my mom's Clinique face powder. It's like a pressed, basically foundation powder. Came in a little green snap closure thing, and I would steal it because I wanted to cover up my acne when I was little, and I didn't want to ask my mom to like get me makeup to like cover up my face, and so I would just take her little Clinique thing, and that's what I would use. Anyways, I got these during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale back in March, and the concept is really, really cool. So there are 4 different bases, 4 different types of moisturizers that you can choose, and then there's like, I don't know, 8 or something different little inserts that have like a serum that go inside. And then when you pump it out, let me show you, you get some of the lotion and some of the serum. So you can see how there's the actual lotion, which is yellow, and then my serum for this one is blue. They were like half off, I'm pretty sure, during the sale. So I actually did pick two, one for the morning and one for the evening. So my morning one is, the moisturizer is an oil-free, like mattifying type gel. I have pretty oily skin. And then the serum inside is like a vitamin C brightening serum. And then for the nighttime one, I got a more like thick lotion moisturizer. And then the serum inside is like an exfoliating serum. And I've been loving them. I like that they don't have a scent. I like that I can do a moisturizer and a serum all in one step. It's just made it really easy. It made it really easy to pack. I mean, they're big products, but I did have to pack a moisturizer and a serum to come down here. And they're the only thing that I've been using since I've been down here. So you can see I'm making pretty good progress. But I've been loving those. I mean, I've had them the whole quarter. I got them in March, but specifically since we've been down here and they're the only thing that I brought with me, I've been loving them. Okay, the next category is cleaning. And so really it's anything household related, but this time it's actually something specific to cleaning. And this is another recent one that's really just since we've been down here in Texas. I have always just used a Swiffer. Ever since I've like lived on my own and cleaned my own apartment, I've always just used a Swiffer. And I know that that's not the greatest for the environment for me to use a throwaway Swiffer wipe, but I'm telling you, when I use like two to do my entire apartment, and that's it, because it's that small. So it's not that bad. And I live in a small apartment. And so I am much better off having something that is like not reusable, because reusable takes up space and it means I have to wash it, and it's a laundry room and it's whole thing. And I can't like have a bucket. Like I don't know where I would put a bucket. So when I came down here and I asked my stepmom, I was like, okay, well what do you use for the floors? And she's like, well, the vacuum is in the closet and the mop and the bucket are in the garage. And I was like, okay. I was expecting like a mop with like a rope mop or whatever it is, because it's been that long since I've cleaned like a floor that's on a carpet. Because in college I lived in my sorority house and it was carpet. So that's what I was expecting. And then I went out there and it's like a giant sponge attached to a stick called a sponge mop. Turns out it's like a very normal thing. My mom was like, yeah, how have you never seen one of those? I was like, well, we didn't have one growing up and I don't have one in New York. So like, where was I gonna learn what a sponge mop was? Oh my gosh, you guys, it's the best. It is so much better than a Swiffer. Like I need to find space in my apartment for a bucket because I want to own a sponge mop now. It is a ridiculous thing for me to be excited about, but I actually like cleaning the floors here because I like my bucket and my soap and my sponge mop. It's not mine, it's my stepmom's, but I love it. Okay, the next category is doing, and this is a category that I've reserved for a habit that I have created or focused on in the quarter that's been really great. And for me, the habit that I've really tried to continue to work on even during this crazy time has been my morning routine, and making sure that in the morning I write in my gratitude journal. I read my daily Stoic book that I talked about last quarter. I've been doing my I am statements. I talked about those earlier, and then I read usually some sort of nonfiction book. Specifically, while we've been here, it's been sitting at this table because I tried to do my morning routine sitting on the couch, and I would very frequently fall back asleep on the couch because I just would I would do all the journaling stuff and then I would pick up the book and I would fall back asleep. So I've been doing it sitting at the table. And at first I was like, it's not comfortable, and I can't believe that you're gonna spend your relaxing morning sitting at a hardwood table. But it is just so much more effective in keeping me awake. And then I'm sitting there when I'm writing, and it's just so much better. And especially as we move into quarter 3 where I'm gonna be writing more during my morning routine, I think just sitting at the table doing it is so much better. So I guess the habit is maybe rethink about where you're sitting when you're doing certain routines. It made sense to me in New York to sit on my couch because that's the only table we really had except the desk, and the desk felt too formal. But sitting at my kitchen table here, it's just a different vibe. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll go sit outside to actually read the book after I've done all the journaling. But as long as I don't touch the couch, I'm good. And that leads me to my last one, which is loving. And this is just a catch-all category for anything else that I feel like I've been loving this quarter. And it's sitting outside. So if you watch my weekly vlog, I kind of did a little bit of rearranging on their deck to put some chairs on a level that there were no chairs. And it is my favorite place to go sit. I will just go sit out there randomly in the middle of the day, even if it's for 5 minutes. Instead of checking my phone sitting in here or sitting on the couch, I'll just go sit out there and check my phone, because it's just the fresh air and the smell of the water. It makes all the difference for my mental health. So just get outside, get some fresh air. I know it's really, really tough right now, and things might be open, they might not be open. You need to wear a mask if you're gonna be around other people, but if you can get outside and get some fresh air, man, it makes all the difference. So that's it. Those are all the things that I have been loving this quarter. I hope that you still get something out of this video. I do feel like a lot of the things I talk about are in a weekly vlog or in a plan with me, but I think having them all bunched together is helpful. And again, I'm gonna try to make sure it's not so much just like June favorites with a couple like May and April thrown in there, and have it actually be representative of the whole quarter. Of course, life is just, you know, it's a roller coaster right now, so who knows what things will be like in 3 months. But that is gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. Is there a glow from the iPad? Yep. Fuck. Oh geez, okay. And they started that they did for ever since I've been like an adult. That sounds so funny. So that is all, that is all.